Russia is on fire. Why the fuck would Putin shell Wagner positions, man? So dumb. Dude, I don't fucking know what's going on with Vladdy Putin, okay? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the fuck's happening. Seems cringe. Seems cringe. That's what I think, okay? I think it's fucking cringe. Vladimir Putin, stop it. Vladdy Poo-Poo, stop it. Prigozhin posts a new audio after 3 hours of silence, claims Wagner has crossed all state borders and is entering Rostov. So far, the claims about an alleged March column haven't been backed by video. We crossed the state borders in all places. Now we are entering Rostov. Units of the Ministry of Defense, or rather, the conscripts who were thrown to block our roads, stepped aside. Prigozhin claims, we are not going to fight children. We are only fighting professionals. But if someone stands in our way, we will destroy everything. We are extending our hand. Do not spit in it. We are going forward till the end, he added. So a mutiny or a putiny seems to be happening with, the Wagner Group, the Mercs, the mercenaries. Now, what's really funny about the situation is every aspect of this is a mid-off, okay? Every actor involved is bad. The only people that are involved that are not bad are just the civilians and the people who are like unwittingly forced into battle, okay? That's it. Felix Biederman says, Russia's Wagner mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin said that the Kremlin's rationale for invading Ukraine was based on lies concocted by his perennial adversary, the army's top brass. There was nothing out of the ordinary happening on February 24th. The defense ministry is trying to deceive society and the president and tell us a story about how there was a crazy aggression from Ukraine and that they were planning to attack us with the whole of NATO, says Yevgeny Prigozhin, the Russian Wagner mercenary chief. Felix Biederman says, holy shit, there isn't a serious country in this entire part of the world. Mongolia or the Ottomans need to remobilize and bring the entire region under a new order. I agree. When you're losing the battle and start talking about honor and loyalty at the bloody end, and you get that mercenary stare, that's such a good fucking meme, dude. Anyway, CNN is covering it right now here. Okay, we'll take a look at it. So yeah, there's a possible coup
of tricking the country into an unprovoked invasion back in February last year.
On February 24th, nothing extraordinary happened. But the Ministry of Defense was trying to deceive the public, to deceive the president, and say that there was insane aggression.
I think there's a higher likelihood that these dudes, the Mercs, the Mercs turn heel. I think, I don't know anything. I don't know what's going on. But I feel like the higher likelihood is that these guys get, maybe a little bit of funding and decide, maybe we'll just help out on the other side or something. You know what I mean? Little Russian January 6th.
Moscow, the Russian capital, has been placed on alert, while Yevgeny Prigozhin, in his latest address on social media, has said that his forces are entering the southern Russian region of Rostov.
His take is basically that MoD have been lying and deceiving Putin this whole time.
And he says it is his intention to go on, in his words, until the end. Erin.
All right. Thank you very much, Matthew. Let's go straight to the White House now, because these developments are now front and center there as well. Jeremy Diamond is out front there. And Jeremy, how concerned is the White House about what is literally unfolding as we speak in Russia? I mean, Matthew talking about Prigozhin saying that he's going into Rostov-on-Don, a Russian city. We don't know in what capacity, what's happening, but this is changing minute by minute.
Yeah, there's no question about it. This is a fast-moving situation with massive geopolitical implications. And so obviously the White House very, very closely monitoring this situation. I'm also told that officials are being very cautious about any kind of statements that they put out because of the fast-moving nature of what is happening. But I can tell you, Aaron, that President Biden has indeed been briefed on this unfolding situation in Russia. And I have a statement from the National Security Council spokesman Adam Hodge, who says, quote, "We are monitoring the situation and will be consulting with allies and partners on these developments." Now, as I mentioned, this is a situation with so many implications here. earlier, obviously in the war in Ukraine, we know the key role that the Wagner Group has played in helping Russia with its military invasion of that country. But beyond even the war in Ukraine, Russia is a nuclear power. And so whatever happens, any kind of power struggle is obviously going to have massive geopolitical implications. Now, the U.S. has long monitored tensions between the Wagner Group and the Russian Ministry of Defense. We have heard that directly from the podium here at the White House. But
wait, hold on. My sources on the ground are saying Putin has responded by sending this to Rostov. Wagner has no chance. Wait, hold on. Oh, it's over. It's over. No, it's over. It's done. No, he's been dealing with coups for 25 years. He's going to go in there and say, where is the punani? Me want the punani. Me want the punani. I've been a Russian man for 25 years. Where mama at? Where mama at? Where the Wagner mama at?
Steps are ours.
It's over. It's over. Okay, this will be done. This will be done by next morning.
Clear. What do you even make of all this?
Well, what that really describes, Aaron, is just this element of extreme chaos.
Where babushka at?
I mean, it's been described that these events are rolling very, very quickly. But what it tells you,
Major General James Spatter,
is that
Marks.
you end up with circumstances like this when you have strong men, when you have these autocrats, and everybody pledges their loyalty to the individual. This is not a constitutional crisis. What this is a two strong men, Putin and Prigozhin, that have allowed this strategic lunacy to take place. So looking at this from the outside in, what are all the other global powers thinking, as just been discussed, in terms of how they think this is going to play out and what the longer term implications are? Look, if Prigozhin gets apprehended and somebody pops him in the head, what does that mean in terms of Putin's longevity?
Right. What does that mean? I mean, they're now saying that at least the security services in Russia, as you talk about these disparate groups, are imploring Wagner fighters to detain and turn Prigozhin in. Now, who knows what happens? If something like that happens, does that then become something much bigger? It's impossible to know.
Oh, this is internal fighting. And I mean, I don't know that we can predict this with any level of certainty. I hate to sound too cynical, but why not? I mean, this could be some drama that's playing out that enhances Putin's stature at the expense of Prigozhin that's already been pre-baked. Prigozhin goes away, but he manages to live to fight another day in some means. We simply don't know right now, but we've seen this. This is a failed military with failed leadership. Putin has allowed that to take place. He's inserted this Wagner group to try to unscrew.
Worth noting that Prigozhin is more right-wing than Putin. That's like insane to think about. Both fucking suck, but I think Prigozhin would be more likely to carry out multiple genocides. Yeah, they're like, again, it's a race to the bottom, boys. It's a race to the bottom. He's not even against Putin. All his messages are about Shoigu and Gerasimov. He does not even talk about Putin. I mean, it also doesn't even fucking matter because, like, the Russian MoD is Putin's extension. He can say that he, like, hates how they've been lying to Putin and Putin is actually good, but that still doesn't change the reality that, like, for example, Shoigu is in the position that he's in, not because of his, like, excellence or military prowess or his unique interest in woodworking. He's in the position that he's in because he's friends and homies with Vladimir Putin. You know what I mean? Yeah, but so is Prigozhin, they're homies, lol. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know what that... I mean, everyone is an extension of Vladimir Putin. Dude, even the fucking other hyper-nationalist CIA guy who, like, got poisoned, like, 1 million times, even he is, like, allowed to exist because of Putin. All opposition is controlled opposition, even including ones that are CIA assets in Russia. Yeah, Navalny, yeah, that guy, the most poisoned man on the planet. Putin runs the fucking show. Yeah, I think he's pretending to fight only the MoD and not Putin for propaganda purposes. Yeah, the Communist Party of Russia isn't a real proletarian movement. Nope. Exactly.
Russia on a heightened sense of alert after the FSB security service in Russia
Russian videos
Wagner
are all
Group's
live
leader,
leaked too.
Yevgeny Prigozhin, of calling for an armed coup. Prigozhin tonight vowing retaliation after claiming that the Russian military killed a lot of his fighters in a strike. And he has also just announced that his fighters are entering the Russian region of Rostov, saying, quote, "We will destroy everything that gets in our way." That's the very latest that we have. We will destroy everything that gets in our way as he is entering the Russian region of Rostov. Our national security reporter, Natasha Bertrand, has been covering this story closely and following the American response as it develops. And Natasha, what more do you know?
Yeah, Aaron, so U.S. officials are telling us that this kind of inflamed rhetoric from Prigozhin is actually much more serious than they've seen from him in the past. And importantly, it does not come after some kind of Russian military failure in Ukraine that he has been so critical of, but it comes after he has accused the Russian Ministry of Defense of actually ordering an airstrike on his troops inside Ukraine. So they are very concerned that he is really out for revenge at this moment. And U.S. official did tell us that he believes that it is, quote, real, and that U.S. officials are monitoring this very closely. Previously, they have, of course, looked at this relationship between Russia's Ministry of Defense and Wagner with a lot of fascination, because obviously there is a very intense power struggle that has been underway between those two entities for quite some time now. Yeah. There was always a question of whether that would result in perhaps Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, giving Wagner Group and Prigozhin more power inside Ukraine. But U.S. officials now, they are taking what Prigozhin is saying and doing very seriously, and they're consulting with allies and with partners on what this could actually mean. Is it a real coup attempt? Is it something more deceptive than that? Right now, it is still really unclear, Aaron.
All right. Well, Natasha, thank you very much. And of course, as she gets more, she'll bring it to us. Steve Hall's with me now, the former CIA chief of Russia operations. And Steve, from these various details that are coming in, what do you read between the lines? What do you hear?
I think Natasha's reporting, Aaron, was really dead on. This is something different. This is in a different league. These three comments specifically that Prigozhin made, saying, "Okay, look, we need to get to Moscow. We need to march to Moscow and take care of the bandits who did these things to us," meaning his troops. He also said, this is getting a little bit less play. He also said, "Look, there was nothing going on in Ukraine when we attacked." That's directly against what Putin said is well, certainly at the beginning of the war, but as little as a week ago. Yeah. So all of this is really just in a completely different, it's in a different category. The FSB is now involved, the most robust of the organizations, the security organizations that Putin himself used to be in. So, now Putin's in this personally. It's going to be fascinating to see which way it goes.
Yes. So when you talk about Prigozhin also just saying, moments ago when he said he's going to the region of Rostov, again, the Russian region, not Russian occupied. This is full blown Russian territory. "We will destroy everything that gets in our way," as the FSB has called for, fighters around him to detain him. What do you think Putin will do here? I mean, this is, and I know, maybe he's not sure himself, but what is how significant is this moment for Putin and his retention of power?
I think it's extremely important. It's an extremely important moment because certainly during Putin's regime over the past couple of decades, we have not seen anybody put this kind of pressure, say these kind of things, be allowed for a period of time to say the kind of things that Prigozhin has said. Most people get thrown into jail or exiled or worse. The problem that they've got with Prigozhin is, of course, he has an army. And so if the army follows him, now the FSB has an army too, but this could get very ugly and very unstable very quickly. And the Russians value stability above almost all else.
Do you think, Steve, it's just the optics of it right now, armed vehicles on the streets of Moscow, they're talking about an up security pressure. They're breaking into television, right? Prigozhin says he's marching there. He's in Rostov. He says he's going to destroy anything that gets in his way. Do you think we're going to, even if it ends quickly and who knows what happens, but that you could truly see armed conflict, Russia on Russia, in Russia? A civil conflict?
Well, the fact that we're seeing this reaction out of the Kremlin indicates that they at least believe that could happen. You've got, armored personnel carriers moving through Moscow, and you've got, the FSB saying, hey, your own guys should detain, the Wagner guys should try to detain or stop Prigozhin. All those show that there's great concern in Moscow that could precisely be what's going on. That said, Putin still has a lot of levers on his side that he can pull to stop Prigozhin, but I don't think we can any longer rule out the possibility that Putin is in serious trouble here.
All right. Well, Steve, thank you very much. It just obviously so much uncertainty and chaos in this, and appreciate your perspective and expertise. Thanks. Next, we're continuing to monitor the breaking news out of Moscow, plus more on the search for answers on the implosion of the Titan. I'm going to speak to a world-renowned explorer.
Okay. I feel like they're I mean, I feel like they're I don't know. Very likelihood that this could be a tactical deception. I don't know. Lukashenko and his family have boarded a private jet with an unknown destination. Government officials were seen fleeing Moscow. A 50-kilometer Wagner convoy is heading towards Rostov, and the regular army makes no attempts to stop them. The Russian army is surrounding the Duma building. Here's the thing. Don't say who cares about what's going on. Obviously, this has like important implications potentially in the war in Ukraine, right? Like, and that's important. It's going to, a lot of lives will potentially be, a lot of lives could potentially be lost in the short term, and then some lives could be saved in the long term. It's just like entirely dependent on what ends up happening. But but again, a lot of this stuff is OSINT shit, so I don't know how real it is. And even with, it's also 4 a.m. in Rostov right now, so most people are sleeping. Info is going to be much slower. No, Shoigu asked Wagner to sign a contract basically ending Wagner and integrating them into the army. Prigozhin refused. That's the TLDR. The big implication for us is the 6,000 warheads in RU. Like, this will have global implications for sure, depending on where it goes. But even if it ends with Vladimir Putin dealing with Wagner or the head of Wagner and like restructuring it and putting it under the MoD, or which would be like the least different outcome than how things have been so far. Even if that's the case, that's still going to be consequential.
Hey everyone, Enter here. Hope you've enjoyed this edit. Don't forget to drop us a like and subscribe. And do leave a Kaya love in the comment section down below if you reach this point of the video. If you'd like to see more content like this, how about looking at this video over here?